Hey everyone, my name is Candy. Welcome back to Can Jam Crochet. I've been working on a lot this past week and I kind of want to show most of it to you. If you're new to this channel, you might not know, but I have a market coming up at the end of this month. So I've been trying to make some more popular plushies that usually sell really well at this market. So let me show you. You guys have probably seen this if you watched my last video, but I have the cute little purple dragon. And I did tell you I was going to make a peach one, and I did go with a pistachio green for that. I think it looks really cute. I also decided to work on some axolotls, so I made about 6 of these. So I've got a purple and purple one, and I've got a black and red one. I have this is the candy apple red and the dusty mauve. So I think those are looking very good. I did do a blue one. And this one is a, I believe this is, I think this might be a coral. I was gonna say peach, but it's a little darker than this one. So I think it might be a coral. And then the last one is just a green on green. So you'll notice I did some of the darker ones with darker accents, and then the darker axolotl with the lighter accents, and then the lighter axolotl with the darker accents. And I think it gives it quite a good variety. I also worked on a little hedgehog, very adorable. And then I did some Perry the Platypus. This is from Crochet by Jenna, as are the dragons and the axolotls. But these were pretty popular last year, so I made 4 of those. So yeah, those are all the plushies I got done. I am working on a little cow. I still have to do his head, and then I have to sew on his accessories, but he is in the process. This is the really pretty dark brown. It's called espresso. I think it looks really good with the cream color, but we got to finish him up. And hate to admit this, but I do like to work on random projects. So I was working on the Japanese knot bag in this Mainstays cotton yarn. This is called Brownstone. Looking really good. This right here, without this handle, I got the whole bag done and part of the handle with just the one skein. So this is all I used of the second skein, and I finished the handle and did the other handle. So we just have to sew these down, and then our Japanese knot bag will be complete. And then another thing I've been working on is a hexagon cardigan. I know I showed you guys when I opened that yarn that I got, I was gonna do a hexagon cardigan. So here is what I have so far. This, I just have to do the cuff on this sleeve and that'll look good. But I think the scuba is working out really, really pretty. I really, really like the color. So yeah, that's everything I've been crocheting on this weekend. And I get these, I get some hand pain, especially in my right hand. I've got some knots back under my shoulder blade there, so it tends to hurt my elbow. And so I tend to switch projects quite a lot because of that. Some projects hurt more than others. I don't know why, but yeah, that's how I deal with it. But we've got all sorts of good plushies we got to do. I got to put them in my inventory. We got to finish this cow, and I do want to make more of these cows. I like the blueberry cow. I've made a peach cow and a strawberry cow before, and those have all sold very well. I like to make them unique and different because then nobody gets the exact same one. But I did make this about 2 years ago and sent this and sold it right away at the fair. And I do have a list somewhere around here of all the other ones that I want to make for this market. But let's go ahead and finish the Japanese knot bag and finish the cow. And Okay, here is the completed knot bag. I think it looks amazing. I really do like the brown color. I think it'll match with a lot of outfits if that's what you're going for. And it's very neutral, so you can pretty much put it with anything, I think. But yep, that's our fourth one. I think that's all I'm gonna do for the country fair, and then if it turns out to be a roaring success, maybe I could take orders and go from there, but I think this will be my last one for a little bit. So I am happy that I ended on the brown. And I actually really do like the Mainstays cotton yarn. I think it worked up really well. It's got a nice drape to it, but it's also just, it shows the stitch definition really well. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, I think it's a really good yarn, and I'm actually glad I found some. Alright, wanted to come out and do a little update on the lilac bushes. Looking beautiful. They didn't bloom very much because the frost hit at a weird time, but we just got this beautiful hydrangea today, so I'm hoping that will bloom this year. And of course our peonies are doing beautiful. I just wanted to throw this out there, but I just switched yarn skeins, and I will tell you this yarn skein is not as slippery as the one I just did. So if it looks like I'm having a little bit of trouble, that's because I am. I'm going from a really slippery yarn to a not so slippery yarn. So it's kind of tripping me up a little bit. I feel like I should probably loosen my tension a little bit, or it's going to be very noticeable. Okay, here is our completed cow. I think he looks adorable. I might put a little bit of white around his eyes, but I think he looks cute. I hope I did the sewing okay. It's a little more difficult. Not a huge fan of sewing, but there he is, all complete. Good morning, everybody. We're gonna sit down on the porch today, and we're gonna try to make some mini bees. And I have the Feels Like Bliss yarn in the yellow, and this is called Slate. So yeah, we're gonna try to make a fuzzy bee today. I am out on my porch today. It is still pretty warm, so I may end up going back in the air conditioner, but we'll see. And There is construction going on at the front of my house, so hopefully you don't hear that. Hopefully it doesn't bother you, but yeah, let's go ahead and get started and we'll make a mini bee. Feels Like Bliss yarn is extremely hard to see, but I think if I can get the first stitch in, we'll be totally fine. I think it's right here. Actually, that feels a little too far away, so let's try to find it a little bit closer. Nope, that's correct. Okay, so that second row was a little bit difficult, but I think we finally got it. So let's continue on with row 3. Okay, so now that I'm getting a little bit bigger, it's going to be a lot easier to feel my stitches, so I think it should go a little bit smoother from here. But I really do love the look of this Feels Like Bliss. It's just very difficult to get started and fit into tight spaces because it is really hard to see your stitches. I don't know if you can see that, but it's very hard to see your stitches in that inner circle. But once you get out here, you can see them a little bit better. All right, and I'm not keeping track of my rows, but I am on row 4 now. Okay, so I did have to come in the house. It was too hot and the construction was getting too loud, but I've switched colors, and I just kind of wanted to mention that maybe I'm wondering why some crocheters, including myself, have a little bit more harder time with the Feels Like Bliss yarn. It is a very smooth yarn, and this is how I hold my tension. I wrap it around my pinky, and then I use this finger to control the yarn. So when I'm going into a stitch and I'm pulling it through, this is my tension. Normally I have my pinky out like this because it's easier for me to relax that finger. But now with Feels Like Bliss, I'm having to hold my pinky in to keep the tension tighter. And that's how I pull my yarn as well, to fix those gaps. So that could be one reason why the Feels Like Bliss is harder to use, because you do have to tighten your tension. Otherwise, you're going to have these really big stitches and you're going to have some holes. So my pinky is getting a little sore working with this, so I kind of want to try to relax it a little bit, but I think that could be one of the reasons why I personally have a little bit harder time with Feels Like Bliss. It's just too slippery. It's hard to keep my tension accurate, but let's go ahead and keep going because this bee is looking really cute and really fuzzy. So let's see if we can finish it up really quick. There is our little bee all done. Super fuzzy, got his cute little bobble wings. The zigzag doesn't look too bad, which is nice. And yeah, I could add a little bit of blush right here and then he'll be complete. Hey everyone, I just wanted to come on and show the little bee again. I did get him some little blushies. I'm not sure I like the dark pink, but I can always change it to light pink, but I think for right now I'm just gonna leave it. And I finished my cute little blueberry cow. I gave him blue horns this time instead of the cream horns, and I think it looks adorable. So yes, now we have our dark brown cow. We have a blueberry cow. I do think next I'm gonna make another Loch Ness monster, and I'm gonna use this Bernat Mystical. This is in the color Storm Blue. So yeah, I think it's pretty late tonight, but we can maybe get started on it, but I just wanted to come on and show you the cute little blueberry cow. Hi everybody, we're working on our Loch Ness monster today, and I got the head done. I think the blue Storm Bernat blanket's looking really good. I've got the two front flippers done and the two middle flippers done. And I've got one of the tail flippers, so I just need to make one more of these, attach them together, and then we'll make the body and sew all the pieces together. So I think that's pretty good progress. One good thing is none of these flippers have stuffing in them, so they're gonna be very flat, very floppy, and they're very soft. This Bernat has come a long way since I first started using Bernat. It is very soft now, so I'm really loving that. So yeah, let's go ahead and make another one of these and see if we can get this finished today. Okay, wanted to take a break from my Loch Ness monster to show you these displays. So this is a purse display, and I can even put plushies on it. And then I got this acrylic riser display. So you can kind of see there. I still have to take the protective cover off, but yeah, let's go ahead and make the other one of these, and then we can I'll show you the whole thing. There it is, all done. Now my favorite part. There we go. Okay, so here's some little plushies on the display. They aren't as big as I had hoped. It looks like I'm only going to be able to fit my smaller plushies on there, but I absolutely love the purse hanger. And I have this one here that I'm going to put my market bags on. But yeah, I do wish they were a little bit like longer, but I think it'll save me from having to pack around my big huge one that I had last year. So okay, here's our little Loch Ness monster. We just need to sew his head on, so let's get busy and do that, and then he'll be finished. Okay, here is the finished Loch Ness monster. I think he turned out really cute. I did have to add some extra stuffing in his neck because it was a little wobbly, but I think it's okay now. And then here's the one I did previously. So I put her head on like this, and I put his head on like that. I think the pattern had both options, so I wanted to try both. But if you look at the size comparison, so this one here was Sweet Snuggles Light with a 4.5mm hook, and then this one was Bernat Blanket Mystical with a 5mm hook. And if you look at the size difference, tails are all lined up, they look like they turned out about the same. So I'm really happy about that. I really like the pattern on the Sweet Snuggles Light, but then the Mystical actually looks really, really good. I like those light blues in there. I don't know if you can see that, but I really like the light blues and the dark blues. It looks really cute. But there we go. I have two finished Loch Ness monsters for my country fair. So I think that's going to be it for this week's video, everyone. I'm going to keep making plushies for my country fair coming up. I have about 7 days. So my hands are getting a little bit sore. My shoulders are getting a little bit sore. I should probably take a rest day today, but then I'll be back to crocheting some fun little plushies and trying to get some of my more popular ones done so we can hopefully have some happy customers at the country fair. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you want to see more videos from me, and we'll see you next time. Bye.